What's going on, guys? Today, I want to talk about the characters that are being added to Naruto-Arena.app. Now, let me just first start off with this. Listen, guys, I'm not here to be a jerk. I'm not here to call anyone out. I'm not here to be arrogant, cocky, seem like I know more than you, do any of that. I'm just here to make a couple simple observations about a couple of the characters that are in the game. That's all. It's just my opinion. Okay? So please take what I say with a grain of salt, because your opinion may be different than mine. And that's okay. It's okay to disagree with people. It's okay to have different opinions than someone else. Okay? We don't need to get mad. We don't need to get upset. We just need to say, I don't agree with you, and that's okay. That's okay. Alright? Okay. Thank you. So, let's get into this. There are a few different things that I personally believe are major issues when it comes to a few of the characters that have been added to the game. Now, what I mean by that is there are new versions of characters being added to the game. For instance, there was a curse mark level 2 Sasuke, so they added in also a curse mark level 1 Sasuke. Great. Kinda. I'll explain that in a minute. Okay, another example. There was a Kabuto in the game, and they went and added a Spy Kabuto, which is the Kabuto not during the Tsunade Jiraiya Orochimaru fight, but a little bit earlier in the series, during the Forest of Death. Great! Kinda. I'll get to that in a minute. Alright? And there are a couple more. Let me just name them. There is Kenoi. Anbu Kenoi. Alright? There was a Yamato in the game, and then they added Anbu Kenoi. Great! Kinda! Let's get to that. So, first off, let's just start with the big one that I see is the most glaring example of this. What do I mean by this? I mean, the new versions of the characters being added to the game are just worse versions of the ones that were already in the game. And it seems to me, now this is what I think, this is my opinion, this is my observation as somebody who's been making characters for over 10 years. Okay, so I kind of know what you do when you make a character and how you go about it. And it's quite obvious to me, personally, now this is what I believe, this may not be true, it's my opinion. It's quite obvious to me that I feel like whoever has been designing these characters has been reading the character that's already in the game and basing their new design off of what they are reading. So here's what I mean. So regular Kabuto, what type of character is he? Well, first he boosts the damage that enemies take from your team, okay? So, he also has a skill that increases the cost of somebody's skills. So, when you think about it, what do you do when you increase the cost of somebody's skills? You make them have to spend extra chakra, which is very similar to like what? A drain or a removal. Just as you're taking away somebody's chakra, if you're increasing their costs, you're doing the same thing, just as they cast a skill instead of before they cast a skill. It's the same effect, pretty much. It's just the timing's different. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, what else does he do? He has some sort of stun effect that increases the damage enemies take. Okay, and what kind of chakra does he use? Nin and Gen. Alright, So let's go take a look at Spy Kabuto. What kind of character is he? Well, he's a character that removes chakra. Alright. What else does he do? He increases the damage that enemies take from your team's skills, just like regular Kabuto does. In sort of the same way. Same costing skill, what does it do? It targets all enemies for 2 turns. If they use a new harmful skill, they take 10 more damage from physical and chakra skills for 1 turn. Okay, so let's read regular Kabutos. It's the same thing. If the enemy doesn't use a new skill, instead of them using a new skill, this works if they don't use a new skill. It stuns them and they take how much? 10 extra damage from physical and chakra skills. It's basically the same thing, except it's worse because this skill stuns the enemies. Okay? Now let's get this. He has a counter effect, right? Now this is, pretty much the only thing that's different about this character. And it's a counter effect, costs 1 random, counters 1 skill. It doesn't really do much. It's not that good. But the thing that really is bad about this character is he has a skill that costs 1 ninjutsu. It deals 15 flat damage, so it's not piercing. And it removes 1 random chakra. Well, regular Kabuto deals 20 piercing damage for the same cost, same cooldown. Actually, not the same cooldown. It has less of a cooldown. But get this, it also increases the chakra cost of the enemy skills by 1 random. And it also increases the damage they take from all skills by 5. Physical and chakra skills by 5 for 1 turn. Now, who would ever use this character over regular Kabuto? Who? He's literally the same design but worse. Why is he in the game as he is? I truly believe we should be creating characters that are less like the characters that are in the game already. And especially if we're creating characters that are an alternate version of a character already in the game. The one job you have when you do that is to make them different. And this is not happening. I don't understand why this is not happening. So let's go to my second example. Curse Mark level 1 Sasuke. What type of character is he? Well, he's a character that uses a skill that costs 1 blood that deals self-damage to boost his other skills. Okay. I'm face palming right now, I'm sorry. Let's take a look at Curse Mark level 2 Sasuke. Now, what kind of character is he? Well, he's a character that uses self-damage on a skill that costs 1 blood to boost his other skills. Well, that sounds a lot like Curse Mark level 1 Sasuke. Well, let's take a look at what they do. So, he takes 20 affliction damage, and for 1 turn, this skill that costs massive amount of chakra eventually costs 2 random. This skill costs a massive amount of chakra, costs 1 random. Okay? So he used to have a skill that kind of differentiated himself from Curse Mark level 2 Sasuke, but they just changed it to be the same skill, pretty much. And what I mean by that is, this used to deal piercing damage. This character never dealt piercing damage, level 2. But for some reason, they decided that his Corrupt Chidori, literally the same name, needs to be the same exact type of damage. They didn't make it less like level 2, they made it more like level 2. Because now they both deal flat damage with the Corrupt Chidori. So why would you ever use this character when you have this version of the character that's just better? Well, how is he better? Well, first off, this character requires nin. You have to be using ninjutsu to use this character. This character, even though his skills cost nin, Literally, all you have to use is blood. You cast a blood, you use your skills for random chakra. You cast a blood, use your skills for random chakra. And these skills deal more damage, have a longer stun, and have better potential to kill than this character's skills. This character may deal less damage to himself, but his self-damage skill at least makes him invulnerable for a turn. This character deals 10 damage, he ignores stun effects, but he's not invulnerable. If you can't tell, this is just the worst version of this character. Alright, let's go to my final example, and this example is a little bit less extreme. But this keeps happening, guys. Spy Kabuto was just released. This keeps happening. We've got to be paying attention to this, please. Whoever's designing the characters, when you're designing your character, your new version, stop reading the old version that's in the game. It's not helping you. It's not. Trust me, just don't read it. You'll come up with a lot more creative designs if you're not reading and not taking inspiration from what's already in the game, because the last thing you need to be doing is taking inspiration from a character that you're making a new version of. You don't want it to be the same thing. You don't want it to be inspired by it. You want it to be completely different. Okay, so it's just clear with Kenoi and Yamato that they took inspiration from his main attack. So what did they do? They went, well, he has a wood arm skill, just like regular Yamato. What should the effect be? Well, I don't know. Let's just make it ignore helpful effects. Make them ignore helpful effects because that's what regular Yamato's wood arm ability does. Why? And we already know what happened with that. It was OP because the ignore helpful effects effect is way too powerful, and that's why it's on a skill that costs 1 blood and 1 random. It could never be on a skill that costed 1 random, as we saw by how OP Kenoi was. And now Kenoi's ruined because he has this effect on his skill. If they didn't take inspiration from Yamato and put this damn effect on Kenoi's skill, he wouldn't have been crazy OP and he wouldn't have been nerfed and wouldn't have been completely fucking useless now. These things have consequences. This could have been a good character. And now he's gonna need a crazy, either a big rework or big boost, instead of just never being able to thrive and just be who he is. He had to be completely destroyed. I don't know. I'm just tired of it. I'm really frustrated with it. Because, to be honest, you guys could be doing a lot better job at the character design. Straight up. I believe in you. I know you can do it. It's just my opinion. It's been Kito. Peace. Bye. Hold up. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Hold the phone. Hold my phone. I just realized that Kenoi is a lot more like regular Yamato than I ever even realized. And this is what I mean. Kenoi. What's his second skill? Well, he gives his allies destructible defense, and he protects them. If an enemy attacks them, it deals damage to them. Okay, what's this Yamato's second skill? Well, he gives an enemy, or he gives an ally, protection. If an enemy attacks them, it hurts them, and gives his ally destructible defense. It's the same thing, except on one person. Alright, so Kenoi is basically the better version of Yamato. So they got it in reverse this time. Instead of the worst version, he's the better version, which is just as bad. Okay, now this one is pretty funny. I didn't even realize this one. And by the way, they both use blood and nin. Okay, anyway, which isn't a big issue, but it's similarities, right? So what's Yamato's third skill do? Well, he can use it on an enemy or an ally. Alright, if he uses it on an enemy, it stuns them, it debilitates them, it's utility. It doesn't damage them, but it reduces their ability to do things, okay? And if he uses on an ally, it protects them. Okay? Well, what's Kenoi's third skill? Well, he can use it on an enemy or an ally. If he uses it on an enemy, it reduces the damage they deal, utility, debilitates them in some way, and if he uses it on an ally, it removes enemy skills for them and protects them for 2 turns. Same length. Could these characters seriously be more similar? No, they couldn't. They're exactly similar. Okay, I just had to come back to this because I can't believe I missed that. Okay. Jesus.